Hey guys, welcome to our walkthrough of Ubuntu, an operating system that combines the reliability of Ubuntu's long-term support with the familiar user experience of Windows. If you ever found yourself torn between the stability of Linux and the familiarity of Windows, Ubuntu aims to provide the perfect solution. So you can see in the desktop, this is a very familiar experience, only that this is not Windows 11. This is a modified version of Linux. And that's the walkthrough that will be taking you through today. So let's begin. We'll start with the start menu. The apps here look similar, but some don't exactly look like you find in Windows 11. For example, there's no Android file transfer. There's no ChatGPT app. There's no Cheese. Cheese is like the other name for the camera app. Microsoft Store is called Discover here. File Explorer is called Dolphin. And among many other apps that have different naming schemes here in the Linux version. So, what I know about the Ubuntu is that there is a compatibility of Windows apps. For example, Microsoft Edge works well as the default browser here. A couple of apps that you can actually just, get to familiar yourself with. Microsoft Copilot doesn't have like this side menu here, but it acts in a different window. And it just opens there and takes you directly to Microsoft Copilot. So you can see the Microsoft Copilot is actually here open, but I'm not gonna enter a prompt right now, but just to show you how it looks like. Moving on, the other thing about Ubuntu is the PowerToys tools integration. If you're a Windows user, you get to know that PowerToys is normally that extra tool that gives you extra features and functionality in Windows that are limited from the regular Windows users. But here, it's modified and you can just run things smoothly. And there's just so much you can do with PowerToys tools. For example, if you go to settings, it will say it has PowerToys control. Let's see what that's gonna look like. It has PowerToys control. Let's see what that's gonna look like. Yep, the window is open. It says here PowerToys is not activated. This is more of like the free edition of the Ubuntu that I'm currently running on. That explains why some features may be limited. Also, Ubuntu has a number of features that may or may not actually be different from Windows. However, the PowerToys update where it's gonna be a bit different, but we're not going to update that right now. Onward to the File Explorer, or what is called Dolphin. This is how it exactly looks like. It's a bit of a similar Mac OS experience, and in case you may have noticed, some functionality like when you open an app, you see a button or you see an icon close to the arrow key. Not okay, the arrow key exactly the pointer that sounds like it looks like it's bouncing. That is a familiar macOS experience. So I could say this OS is more of like a combination of those three operating system experiences. So it just looks exactly like it's a display, nothing much. And this is actually more of like a very modified Linux experience. So that's just as I mentioned before. So this is the properties window that looks like this. It's a bit different, well, a bit detailed, of course, and it shows like a very interesting bar showing the story that is there. Moving on to the interesting feature that I might want to check it out, it's called the Android support. Let's see how it looks like. Well, unfortunately, it says the CPU virtualization is disabled on the device bus. That's because I'm running on a virtual environment. But let's see what it actually has to offer. It might actually tempt me to download an ISO for Windows. And yeah, primarily that's it. But hey, at least you get to see the features that are actually available at the moment. This was just a simple walkthrough of the Ubuntu operating system. So this operating system, I came across it on Twitter like 3 weeks ago. Users say that this was actually interesting to interact with. Though I know I'm kind of limited because I'm running on a virtual environment, this feels like if Linux users should actually, they use different flavors or different modifications of Linux because that distinguishes users from Windows. And personally, for me as a Windows user, I'm actually inclined to how I use Windows, definitely from all versions of Windows to the current one, Windows 11. And I thought, why not? Let me just check it out and give you a walkthrough of how this looks like. I mean, they're not much different user experience here and there, and tools here and there. Oh, I wanted to show something on the widget section. The widget section is kind of interesting because this is now where the true definition of desktop widgets are. Just waiting for that to load up. Yep. Oh, it's closed already. Okay. Now, this is where there are a huge variety of widgets there. Very interesting widgets that I kind of find it interesting. And there's a whole lineup of them. Let me pick see if there's a sticky note widget that can actually open. Okay, so this is where the sticky note is, and it's pretty funny because it's so transparent. I don't One could actually get lost in the pocket and wonder where it is. So it's actually right here. Let me just type something sample. So I was just actually able to drag the sticky note from the widget place and trying to see the modifications. This is actually not working as it's supposed to be. I'm trying to change the color. This is not exactly the way it is. So let me just see if I can discard it, and it says widget removed. Okay, so before I conclude, I just want to mention a few things about Ubuntu. It's actually cool, it's actually great, but there's some limitations here about this operating system. But even if you were to run it in your device, it is kinda unstable. So I don't think it would be ideal for any other regular user or a programmer or anyone who's just trying to do like heavy, work stuff, or just to be a regular user. If you really want to stick into like Windows, just stick to Windows. If you want to stick into Linux, just stick into Linux or macOS. This modification is just good for play. I don't think it's someone could be really productive with it. But I guess it's like a operating system that's work in progress. Maybe eventually within the coming months, the Ubuntu website actually shows some cool updates. And if you want to get the full version, you can check out on ubuntu.org. They have the editions that are there. The one I'm currently running is the free edition. There's Ubuntu 11 Plasma and Ubuntu 11 Cinema. And I guess you can go check it out for yourself. Let me know what you guys think. This is Tony doing a walkthrough of Ubuntu, and I hope to see you soon. And let me know if you want to see any other walkthroughs of operating systems. So this is me signing out. Let's munch tech.